of the Albany County Legislature Public Works Committee. Majority Council Kenny, would you please take the roll?
Sure, Mr. Chairman. Ricard.
Present.
Mayo.
Here.
Cleary.
Here.
Fine. Andrew Joyce.
Here.
Gillespie. Reinhardt.
Yep.
Oh, thank you. Bergdorf.
Here.
And Smith. You have a quorum.
Thank you. First item on the agenda is to approve the previous month's minutes. Did everyone have a chance to read them? Motion. Mr. Cleary makes a motion. Do I have a second? Second. Mr. Bergdorf seconds. All those in favor? Opposed? Carries unanimously. Just so FYI, we added a 13th item on the agenda. It should be on your iPads, if not, if you have access. Yeah. So we're going to go to the second item on the agenda. Please read that.
Item 2 is authorizing the submission of a grant application to the New York State Council on the Arts regarding a capital projects grant for improvements to the Shaker Meeting House. Executive Director Batman is here today.
Thank you.
Welcome.
So pursuant to our lease, we request authorization to both apply for and accept grants. So this is a mea culpa where I've actually already applied because the deadline was January, but just the timing didn't quite work. But the application was to fund a project to do a new entryway to the 1848 Meeting House, which is our primary facility. So it's currently kind of a decayed entryway, and our fire escape is not code compliant, so trying to bring everything back up to snuff.
Thank you. Do any of the legislators have any questions on this item? Motion. I just have one quick question. I noticed on your, from the contract, it says that it's $225,000, and then the grant is for $125,000, so what's your anticipation of getting the additional funds for that?
So I'd be looking to, we have a couple of foundation funders who pretty reliably will contribute support to capital projects, so I would be raising funds primarily through those sources.
Okay.
But it's a matching grant opportunity, so.
Okay, thank you. No further questions on this item? Mr. Cleary, I think you made a motion on it, right? Do I have a second? Mr. Mayor seconds. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Item carries.
Item 3 is authorizing the renewal of a lease agreement with Tech Forward Inc. at the MVP Arena. General Manager Belver is here this evening.
Welcome, sir. Thank you.
This is Nate Sims. Nate is the Assistant General Manager and Director of Operations. Is really the person who makes everything happen operationally at the building. We've met him before, but wanted to make sure you get some good opportunity to do so today. The Tech Forward lease, these folks have been in that space for quite some time. They are in the space, some of you may remember we had a radio station at the arena at one time. And so they're in the same space, the second level, the mezzanine level of the arena. The amount of money that they're paying is pretty substantial considering the fact that public cannot get in and out of the space currently without a buzzer system for the door, which we are going to be installing. But the 3-year renewal is going to be at the same rate. We don't feel like we can increase the rate at this time based on the current situation in downtown Albany with the vacancy rate and so forth. And I think we're happy to have them continue on and continue to be a tenant.
Thank you. Do any legislators have any question on this item? Someone like to make a motion on it? Do I have a second? All those in favor? Aye. Before, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Before you go to the next item, I just want to acknowledge that legislators, Gillespie is here, present. Thank you.
Item 4 is amending resolution number 705 for 2024 with the New York State Department of Transportation regarding the winter maintenance on state roads agreement. Commissioner Raimondo is here this evening.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Welcome.
Yes, so last year DOT sent us their 5-year agreement and they had a miscalculation in the dollar amount of the agreement. So the resolution that we approved is a bit less than what it should be. We're requesting that the resolution be amended to reflect a total of $5,108,194.
Question. Lisa, is this one of the agreements that gets topped up every year? Or is it like the TIP does, and we come back and we amend it? Or is this this figure what we will get for 5 years.
So this is an estimate of what they think we'll get in 5 years. So what they do, every 5 years, we get a new agreement, and they'll take the previous 3 years and average them and times it by 3, and then that's what they estimate the agreement to be. If we go over that on any given year, like if we go over the 1.021 million in any given year, we can apply for extra money.
Okay, so this figure reflects them extrapolating the last 3 years forward for 5 years, but that number will ultimately be potentially
It could-
adjusted at the end.
Yes, yeah.
Thank you.
Simple question.
Sure.
It's kind of related to what Paul just said. It sounds to me like this amendment is basically saying that the ceiling of what we could be reimbursed for under this agreement is going up based on these new numbers.
It is going up. But that said, if in any given year, we should, use more than the 3-year estimate, we could apply for that additional. It's more or less an agreement to have it in place and allows the state and us to know kind of what we can expect.
Yeah, okay.
Any further questions on this item? Somebody like to make a motion on it? Mr. Bergdorf makes a motion. Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Item carries unanimously for 5 years.
Item 5 is amending resolution number 330 for 2024 regarding an agreement with Syntec Systems for the FM Live cloud-based fuel monitoring system.
Yep. So we entered into an agreement with Syntec last year, and when they began implementation of the new fueling system, it became apparent to our IT department that what they communicated was part of the system wasn't going to be as secure as we wanted it to be. So rather than being a network-based system, it's moved to a cloud-based system. That way they're not going to be interfering with our network, which keeps our network secure. And in doing that, it increased the cost of the contract by $20,573. So this is basically amending our contract with Syntec to allow for us to go to a cloud-based system rather than a network-based system.
Thank you. Do any of the legislators have any questions? Mr. Berger?
2 quick questions, Lisa. Is the 133 an annual cost or a cost for the term?
No, so the bulk of it is a one-time cost for equipment. And then a portion of the contract, it's $11,904. That's the yearly subscription cost.
Okay.
So that will be an annual.
Okay. One last question. Did you experience any security problems with the system in the year that you had it operational?
No, because we didn't even get it operational. So we started, IT was working with them to implement it, and a flag went up.
Got it.
So
My question is simply, it sounds like the system worked before. This new system is going to work as well as or better than the old system, but primarily this is a cybersecurity investment to
It's-
prevent a risk that was identified.
So honestly, it's not even necessarily a cybersecurity issue, although we want to make sure everything is secure. It's a matter of our system, our existing system is so old that it's not being supported anymore. And we keep having issues with it, and it's to the point now where it's like we need to update to like the newer system.
So IT said this is basically the best way to go from a couple different angles.
Yeah.
The system
and-
will talk to itself and each other, and also we have the cybersecurity benefit.
Yes, and also too, it helps us with billing, like the existing system is not user-friendly when it comes to billing and things like that. So it's going to be an overall upgrade for us, not just with fueling.
So it's
but-
not just equal, it's better.
It's
than
better.
what we had before.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Do any legislators have any more questions on this item? Somebody like to make a motion on it? Mr. Berger, second.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Opposed?
Aye.
Item carries unanimously. Please read 6 items.
Item 6 is authorizing the establishment of a shared services agreement with the Department of Public Works and the New York State Department of Transportation.
Yep. So this is an agreement for us to be able to work with the state. Should an emergency arise where, say, we needed a new pole or something, and we didn't have one on hand and the state had some in surplus, we could borrow their pole and then reimburse them back without, jumping through too many hoops. So it's a shared service agreement that goes both ways.
Thank you. Any questions, Mr. Berger?
If it goes both ways, why are we paying them $25,000?
So we're not paying them upfront. It's more or less like, okay, if what we need is less than 25,000, then,
We can operate
it's
into it.
covered under this agreement. Like, if we should need help that was beyond 25,000, which frankly, we've only asked the state for help once since I've been there. We help them. But if it was like an expenditure that was greater than that, then we would have to go, go a different route. But this allows us to, if they should need, materials, something like that, or we should need materials, we can do a swap, and we could be either reimbursed back with the same material, or there could be a
So this is
dollar
actually a
change.
reciprocal agreement where
Yeah.
both sides can swap back and forth, 25,000 or under.
Yes, yep.
Any further questions on this item? Someone like to make a motion on it? Mr. Grace, second by Mr. Berger. If all is in favor? Opposed? Item carries unanimously. If you could sum it up.
Item 7 is
Chair.
authorizing an agreement.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I have to abstain
Oh,
from this particular one. I have to abstain from this one, number 4 and number 2.
Okay.
Was that 6 or 7?
6. 6.
The one we just did?
Yep.
6?
6, 4, and 2.
6, 4, and 2? No problem. She's abstaining from 6, 4, and 2. Thank you. Okay, so,
Item 7 is
Yep.
authorizing an agreement with Altech Industries regarding the purchase of a tree trimming truck.
Yep. So our existing tree truck is from back in 2010, and it is past its useful life. We plan on putting it out to auction, or if no one bids on it, then we would just get parts money for it.
do I have, anyone have any questions on this item?
Motion?
Do I have a second? Second. All those in favor? Aye. Item carries unanimously.
Item 8 is amending the budget for 2025 regarding the elimination of the blacksmith welder position and creating an additional automotive mechanic position.
Yep. So this is an interesting one, blacksmith welder. We probably won't see this in any of our lines going forward. So basically, the person that sits in this position acts as an automotive mechanic, and the dollar amount is equally the same. We don't have a welder on staff anymore. That's not something that we need at the shop at this time.
Sure.
So did you just say that we already had an automotive mechanic sitting in that slot?
Just direct all questions through the chair, and then we can go. Okay. What was your question? Go ahead.
Did you say that we already have an automotive mechanic sitting in that slot?
There
We're
is.
just basically renaming it.
Correct.
Appropriate.
We're making it the appropriate name to reflect the duties that he does.
So we're bringing it from the 18th century to the 22nd.
Yep.
21st.
Sounds good. Any further questions? Someone like to make a motion on it? Mr. Burkhardt, second by Mr. Joyce. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item carries unanimously.
Item 9 is authorizing an agreement with AOW Construction regarding the general construction services for the MVP Arena loading dock renovation project. Commissioner Lattina is here this evening.
Good evening, Chairman. An RFP was issued for a loading dock renovation. The loading dock at the MVP Arena is past its useful life. This will require extensive work on there. AOW was one of the 4 bidders, was the lowest responsive bidder of the 4 bids. The cost of this is $457,847.70, which $41,584 is contingency money on this. This was in the capital plan.
Thank you. Do any of the legislators have any questions on this item? Mr. Joyce makes a motion. Mr. Cleary seconds. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Item carries unanimously.
Item 10 is authorizing an agreement with East Empire Electric regarding electrical construction services for the MVP Arena loading dock renovation project.
Yes, there were 10 bidders on this portion of the same project for the electrical construction portion of it. They were the lowest responsive bidder. at the $105,500 with a contingency of $10,550 to bring the whole total exceed cost not to exceed $16,050.
Thank you. Do any legislators have any questions on this item? Mr. Joyce makes a motion, Mr. Clary seconds. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Item carries unanimously.
11 is authorizing an agreement with Bernie Piping regarding the MVP Arena loading dock renovation project.
Yes, same RFP. BPI Piping was the lowest responsive bidder out of 3 bidders for their cost of $444,257 with a contingency, $379,480 with a contingency of $24,390 for a total package of $444,257.
Thank you. Do any legislators have any questions on this item? Someone like to make a motion? Mr. Joyce makes a motion, second by Mr. Cleary. All those in favor? Opposed? Item carries unanimously.
Item 12 is authorizing an agreement with Dynasty Chemical Corp. regarding the replacement of transfer fluid for the MVP Arena heating system.
Yes, this is a little bit different of a contract here. You know, we were informed by the MVP Arena that they were having problems through Dynasty Chemical with the glycol in the heating system. It was discovered when they started taking some of the heating system, the HVAC apart, that there was a thing that they call biofouling in the system, which causes narrowing of all the copper piping and the piping inside the systems. Dynasty Chemical is the contractor. They gave us, because this is actually falling under almost like an emergency type contract, because if it goes down, you know, it wipes out the MVP Arena until it's repaired and everything else is repaired. The cost of this is not to exceed $125,000. This is to flush the system, add inhibitors into the system, and reload the system with glycol into the sealed system.
Thank you. Do any of the legislators have any questions on this item? Mr. Berger?
Just out of curiosity, Dave, did we use the former median type of liquid since the arena was?
What it was is that the glycol is approximately 25 years old in there. And what happens is, they don't know how it happens, but it becomes, they call it biofouling. Something gets in there, it causes a microorganism, and this causes calcification inside the piping itself. The only time I believe that we really added glycol into the system was when we did the boiler system over a few years ago, which was added into there. Otherwise, it's a sealed system. They don't, Dynasty Chemical or any chemical company doesn't know why it happens. It just happens. So this is where we are as far as, you know, we just don't want this to start wiping out all the HVAC equipment over there. It was caught under thing.
And we're putting the same fluid back in?
Yeah, you'll have to put glycol back in. No, it's all brand new glycol that we're putting back in. It's not the same glycol.
So
Everything's
changing the
drained.
oil on your car?
What's that?
Like changing the oil on your...
Exactly. But this is a sealed system. It constantly is always in there.
Do any of the legislators have any questions on this item? Someone like to make a motion? Mr. Cleary makes a motion. Do I have a second? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Item carries unanimously.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Item 13 is authorizing an agreement with Brentwood Industries regarding the purchase of primary clarifier components for the water purification district clarifier settling tanks. Executive Director Angelo Gaudio is here this evening, and this is on Granicus.
Before you start, did everybody have the opportunity to look at your iPads about this item? It was added after the fact here. Paul, you also know there, because I know you had an issue getting on your iPad, that item.
This is the old iPad. It's not even recognizing
Okay.
the Wi-Fi here.
Do
So
you
I
want to take a
can't.
second to take a
Yeah,
quick look
no,
at that?
I mean,
I also had that problem, but I looked at it.
Okay. Does anybody else have the opportunity to take a look at it? You didn't?
No.
Is it on your iPad?
This is my personal iPad,
Ah.
I'm still working on it.
Okay.
So is this not on the website yet?
It is on the website, but for anyone who can't get access to Granicus on the website or is having trouble,
Pass it down.
we printed out copies for you.
Got another copy?
Just took it for granted.
Thank you, Mickey.
I have one question.
You can ask, go ahead.
Angela.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
It said that.
Paul, wait 1 second. We
Okay.
got to let him present. And Mr. Smith, I didn't acknowledge you being part of this meeting, so I'm acknowledging, sorry.
I came in late.
No problem. Things happen.
First of all, thank you to the committee for allowing us to go onto the agenda for tonight. I know it was just a last-minute addition. So this is for the purchase of primary clarifier parts. We received 3 bids in Brentwood Industries. It's the lowest responsible bidder. We do have a primary clarifier offline right now, so the reason for putting this on kind of last minute is we're just trying to expedite the order. The lead time on the materials is about 3 to 4 months, so we just wanted to make sure that we could get the order placed as quickly as possible, just so that we can receive those materials as quickly as possible. The contract amount is for $210,000, and this will be 100% funded by the district.
I'll give you guys a second, because Paul, you're still looking at your document?
Yeah, my question was how many people bid and whether they were the low bidder.
Okay.
And now I see it, and I guess I have a question, which is just an observation. The low bidder was Brentwood, but, you know, at the 210,000, but then you have this GP Jaeger.
Yep.
At over $1 million? What were they,
I don't know.
what were
Yeah.
they thinking?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly why their chain cost was so high, but it was. So I said they bid, $295.63 per linear foot of chain, versus, again, we had one for 21, which was Brentwood, 2168 was Brentwood's number, and then
90
Kessler Associates was 90. So that's honestly what drove the selection, the fact that their linear foot per chain was that much more. So. And then we had used Brentwood in the past, so again, we're comfortable using that product.
Thank you. Legislator Gillespie, do you have any questions on this item? No. All set? Okay. Is there any further questions on this item? Somebody like to make a motion on it? Mr. Joyce makes a motion, Mr. Bergdorf seconds. All is in favor? Opposed? Item carries unanimously. Well, that concludes our items for the evening. Would somebody like to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Mr. Joyce,
A second.
meeting's adjourned. Thank you.
Anything.
Thank you.